Welcome to another episode of the Gaming Hall of Rivalries. I am your host, Jeremy, and with me, my other host, Curtis. How are you?
Doing well.
Today, we're going to be talking about the two biggest princesses in the video game world right now, but still holding the title, because in this gaming history in our culture right now, there's really not a lot of princess well known except for these two, and that would be, Princess Peach or Princess Toadstool for like back in the day. And then we have Princess Zelda. So Princess Peach, for people that don't know, is from the Mario series, and Princess Zelda is from... Oh, that's been set up. I'm sorry. I said Zelda. Not Princess Peach is from Mario.
Yes.
Princess Zelda is from
The Legend of Zelda.
And your main heroines that help out will be Mario and Link. So people don't know that. But we are here going to be talking about kind of like the culture of both characters, talk about what made them stand out and what they did in gaming. Once again, this is not about who's better or competition about that. It's just kind of more of like education for us. And it's funny because when we do these research, I think I find something that I really didn't know. I was like, didn't put that together. And so, but we're going to start out with Curtis. Curtis, you are doing Princess Peach, so go ahead and send us that way.
So yeah, starting out with Princess Peach, her first appearance, unlike Mario, was in 1985. Mario started out in Donkey Kong 2 years later. Peach appeared in 1985 in Super Mario Brothers. She is often the damsel in the distress, the MacGuffin to chase after the plot of the games. Princess Peach, though, outside of Japan, was known as Princess Toadstool.
Yep.
Especially in the instruction manual for the U.S., the first time, did you know that the first time she was referred to as Princess Peach was in a game called Yoshi's Safari?
No. Now, I'm aware of that game because that was a game that was on Super Nintendo where you actually use one of their accessories called the Super Scope.
Yes.
Yeah, and I remember, I guess, I don't know if you ever saw the gameplay, but, you're riding on Yoshi, I think, and you're just shooting wherever it comes on the screen. So I guess that's where they decided to go back to the traditional name Peach.
Well, yeah, that was the first time she was ever referenced as Peach. And later on the 64, the opening letter to Mario, she actually uses both names.
Okay.
She signs it Princess Toadstool, and then there's a letter. Her other name is Peach, Sincerely Peach, as well.
You would think, sooner or later, that what they do is people always got that debate which one they like. They just go ahead and give her that full name, so she's Princess Peach Toadstool. And so Toadstool I was so used to when I was younger because to me it made more sense because she was the queen, she was the princess of Toads.
Yes.
Yeah, so it makes so much sense, but it makes me wonder why they decided to go slowly bring back Peach, because Peach, ever since that name came back, it just became the permanent name for now. Why do you think that?
I definitely think Nintendo America phased it out just to be in unison with Japan. And just the relationship between Nintendo America kind of bends the knee to, what Japan says.
Right. It was kind of a debate with Dr. Robotnik and Eggman's thing. So, go on.
And more times than not, she's an NPC. What's really cool is when you expand outside of the main series, with the exception of Super Mario 2, she is a playable character. Anything from the sports titles to did you know she actually had her own solo game?
Yes, it was on the Nintendo DS. Yes,
it was called Super Princess Peach, and it was an absolute role reversal where she ends up going through 8 worlds to rescue Luigi and Mario respectively.
Have you ever had a chance to play that?
Yes, I have it on the 3DS.
Can you go into a little bit about that, like your experience in Super Princess Peach?
In Super Princess Peach, after Mario and Luigi get taken by Bowser. And just on a side note, Bowser's thinking, there is no one to stop me now. This is like the best day ever.
Right.
And she uses an umbrella as her main offense, and the umbrella collects energy for her to use emotions.
Okay.
She has 4 moods to navigate the levels, solve puzzles, and defeat enemies. And those are joy, gloom, rage, and calm.
Okay.
The joy emotion is represented by a yellow heart. Peach becomes very happy as if walking on air, which allows her to slowly ascend in a small tornado of gusts. a gust of wind. She can actually blow things, lift enemies up, and defeat enemies with that, and she can fly as well.
Now, I know she has like. Now, when you mean flying, you mean like the little quick little float moment right there?
Oh no, I mean absolutely flying.
Oh, okay. Can she float without the umbrella, or the umbrella is her mechanism to float?
Honestly, she's just holding the umbrella. She's
just for
spinning
looks.
around in a circle.
Okay.
Her gloom ability, which is she's crying, she causes a cartoonish amount of tears to steadily stream, and she gets super speed. She'll like just barrel through a whole row of Goombas.
So was that an easy game?
There's some parts. The puzzle solving was kind of like, what do you use to get past this section?
Okay. So, how did you feel overall? Is that
I really enjoyed it. I really liked it a lot.
Is that a game you would recommend people, if they find it, to pick it up and give it a try?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a hard copy to get a hold of. I was doing research on getting it. If you're curious, it's anywhere from $16.99 to $80 on Amazon.
Okay. Whew. Man, that's crazy. And it's funny that we're seeing, and I think this happened probably midway in in the gaming culture. I want to say around 2000 when, and this is no disrespect for women, but this is where we saw women kind of becoming more dominant in gaming. And we're seeing this with Princess Peach, that she went from being the damsel in distress to this
more active.
More active. I'm going to do more sports stuff. I mean, even like in later in Mario games, she gets her hands dirty, helping out with stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so it's really fascinating that that she's kind of like becoming her own icon in that. Even in Smash Brothers, that was a shocker when Smash Brothers Melee, when she first came out, and it was like, what is her ability in Smash Brothers? So it's like she would use like golf clubs and all that.
What's really neat with Smash Brothers is it takes a lot of her, it incorporates a lot of things that she's known for and makes it her attacks. She's very elegant. She uses really neat high kicks. She has mid-air thrusts, but she also has some throwbacks. Her neutral B attack, she grabs out a toad to absorb and shield thing. And you're thinking, well, why is it a toad? And it's like, well, that's always been the thing at the castle telling you she's somewhere else. She's the ruler of that kingdom. So yeah, she's probably going to have a bodyguard here or there to take a hit. Her smash attacks, honestly, her left to right smash attacks are either a tennis racket, a golf club, or a frying pan.
And let's not forget her butt. She uses her butt
hip thrust.
Thrusts her way to hitting people. That was really interesting. But one thing,
and her up recovery too is a throwback to floating from Super Mario 2. She even has the umbrella from Super Princess Peach.
It's basically we're seeing a little bit of everything she has done from the beginning of Mario to now.
It's really great because that sort of says a lot about, even though she's an NPC, there's a lot of character. There's a lot of tradition of things you associate her with doing.
It's funny too because I think that for a while there was another princess in that battlefield with her, and that was Daisy.
Yes.
But there's not a lot of information about Daisy. Daisy started slowly fading off, I think, after Super Mario Land 1 or 2. And then she just became kind of like a fun bonus character what you see in sports games, either like it's golf or Mario Kart and all that. But she really kind of disappeared. Unless you want to count Princess Peach using like an alternative color, she could probably look like Daisy. But
yes.
But other than that, yeah, go on. What were you saying?
But yeah, it's just definitely interesting that for an NPC that doesn't have a history of doing too much in the main games, they managed to do a good job of filling out her moveset in Smash Brothers.
And it's also too, I think that a lot of female players wanted a female character to come in for that moment, and I think Princess Peach was that person for that. That and Zelda, who we'll be talking about soon. But what else is on your list before we?
That's about it. But what's really neat with Peach is she's just as prominent as Mario in the story. I mean, just the history of growing up in Nintendo with her, and the various levels. I
think it's interesting that when we first started playing Mario games, that for me, I threw Princess off like a one-off. Like, okay,
Yeah.
she's just gonna be this princess. Okay, I don't really care that much. And because, like, you know, every time you play, you know, you beat a castle, you know, you have Toad saying in the castle, and then we slowly see that in Mario 2, where she was playable, I guess.
She was more proactive. Yeah, she was playable.
And then
even though the game was a dream, it was still really cool. Like, hey, I actually get to play as this person.
Right, and she can float. That was weird, but then that makes so much sense because the dream, like, you can make up whatever you want at that point. Then Mario 3, we kind of went back to the
her
roots,
being captured,
and then that was in Mario World. And I want to say it wasn't until Mario Kart on 64 we actually got to see. Oh, okay, it's kind of like, okay, they're just using all the characters and all this stuff. That's fun. And see,
I like what you hit on about her getting her hands dirty, because when you do the sports game, she's like. As capable, if you know some attributes, she's even more capable than Mario and Luigi.
Yeah,
as a golf, Mario tennis,
and I think even in the RPGs, if you want to say like,
Mario RPG,
yeah, like Paper Mario, Paper Mario, she did some stuff. The Seven Star Saga, she was captured most of the time, so you couldn't do that. But it even got Bowser to come out and play and help out. And the interesting thing, Bowser and Princess Peach's relationship's always been kind of like a mystery, because you never knew what Bowser's plans were until we saw Mario Odyssey, where it's kind of like, this is what we were wondering about, like, was Bowser ever going to marry Princess or something like that?
Yes.
And like, is she going to deal with these kids?
Well, you know, there's an old Nintendo comic where he wants her as his wife for a mother figure for the Bowser kids, for the Koopa kids.
Okay.
And that's neat that Odyssey kind of played on that, you know.
So, what do you see in the future of Princess? Like, Princess right now is actually in a pretty good place. I mean, she's not being overshadowed by, you know, Mario, because she is still the only icon princess so far in gaming. So no one's taking that crown from her, literally.
Correct.
And so. But what do we want to see in the future for Princess Peach? Like, I honestly would kind of like to see Princess try again for another solo.
Either another solo, or, you know, kind of what they have been doing with the new Super Mario Brothers games is have her be playable with one of the Toads, you know.
I actually want to see her do kind of like I could see her doing like a simulation game where, like, she's like commanding the Toads to do something for her.
Almost like an RTS?
Yeah, something like that, or kind of like Stardew Valley.
Yes.
You could do something like that, or just a fun little quick game you play on your phone or something. You know, just something where, like, she just commands people in doing something. I think that'd be really interesting to see what she would do with that. And we can kind of learn about what is it like to be a princess in a Mushroom Kingdom.
Yes.
So that'd be kind of cool. And then on the sports side, I mean, she's still going to be dominating, I mean, in everything, mostly as the princess of that. But what about you? What do you want to see Princess Peach in the future?
I would love to see an Omega Force Dynasty Warrior Mario.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, that you have...
Oh, yeah, speaking of that, she gets her hands dirty in the Rabbit and Mario game on Switch. Yeah. So...
But yeah, I think she could have some really cool movesets in that formula of game. And you know, what's really neat with Dynasty Warriors is you get to unite enemies sometimes. Let's say, like, you could have Bowser and Peach on the same battlefield fighting for the greater good of the Mushroom Kingdom.
Right. Actually, that'd be kind of cool. I would love to see, like...
And, you know, it's almost a throwback to the Mario RPG where, you know, Bowser was a party member on Mario RPG.
You know, now you think about it, I would love to see an adventure of just Bowser and Princess Peach doing something.
Yes.
Like, maybe Bowser kidnapped Princess at one point, and then all of a sudden his floaty thing messed up, and they got stranded somewhere, and they have to work together to get out, literally. And I think that'd be a really fascinating thing, because we could finally see, like, where their intentions were on all that. And then Mario will come probably at the very end and save the day, but still, that'd be kind of a cool bonding thing. So
yes,
yeah. So we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna be talking about the other princess that everybody knows of, Princess Zelda. We'll be right back. Hi, and thank you for listening to the podcast as part of the In-Game Boss program, a network of gaming and other variety podcasts, gaming podcast shows like the In-Game Boss, Gaming Halls of Rivalries, and of course, the Gamer Stand podcast. Other variety podcasts, we have Bond Never Dies, Come Meet, and Be Mindful of Jeremy Evans. And if you have any other questions, please email us at ingameoffice@gmail.com. And thank you so much. And welcome back to the Gaming Halls of Rivalry. I'm your host, Jeremy, with Curtis. And we are going into our next princess. And this princess is known in its title itself, The Legend of Zelda. So Zelda is, she's an interesting princess. And she came around like in 85. Yes. 1985 with The Legend of Zelda. And the thing that makes her stand out from Princess Peach is that Zelda is a princess, but she goes through many incarnations of herself. So like each Zelda that you have played from now to all the way to Breath of the Wild, we have seen a different version of her because they have a huge timeline. And the timeline always goes down to most decisions of either Ganon wins or he doesn't win. So if you own the book Zelda Hysteria, that is a great book to read, and you can find more information of what happens. Because my favorite game is Link to the Past. As I speak right now, I'm playing Breath of the Wild, but that can change. But I'm playing Link to the Past, but that's on the path when Ganon took over at one point. So this is like the dark path of it. I didn't know that because I thought Majora's Mask would be that or Ocarina of Time, but it's not. And I think they said at the very beginning, I think Skyward Sword is supposed to be
at the very
beginning, and then they said Breath of the Wild is at the very bottom, which I'm still in that debate. I think Breath of the Wild is before Wind Waker, but we'll wait till they tell us where exactly it is in the timeline. But the thing I like about Princess Zelda is she is another woman like Princess Peach that is also a damsel in distress, but she gets her hands dirty, but she is a badass fighter. And we've seen this after Ocarina of Time, where she is, well, actually, I take that back. In Ocarina of Time, she does. She was alter ego as Sheik, right? Then we start seeing more of her, like in Hyrule Warriors. We've seen her more in
Magic,
Smash Brothers. We've seen her even in Skyward Sword, where she's not even the title of princess, but she's learning magic. And then, like in Breath of the Wild, she's kind of that damsel distress, but she's more of, I'm still gonna fight as a princess. You know, so I don't know. You haven't played Breath of the Wild yet, but
no, I have not.
But when you do play it, you'll see what I mean. This is a princess that's like she's still damsel, but she's learning the world that she's living in, and she's trying to also fight. Now, people that do know that the Triforce of Wisdom, and people don't know what the Triforce is those three triangles that you see in the front of the game, where there's a power, wisdom, and courage. And Princess Peach has always been the wisdom, no matter what. And it's interesting because, like, I didn't know. I think Wisdom thinking it's like super intelligent, and I realized that going through this history that she was part of a sage community.
Yes.
So that kind of makes sense a little bit, but I never really got the idea of how the Triforce just gives her the imprint. I never think they ever talked about like how did these three heroes just get this imprint. They just never really broke into it. It's just like it is what it is, And so so going into a little bit about Princess Zelda, and to tell you the truth, what you hear about Princess Zelda is probably all you know. The only thing that's fascinating about her, and I thought it was really cool, is where she was inspired from. And Miyamoto was inspired to create Zelda by a person named Zelda Fitzgerald. And Zelda Fitzgerald was actually married to F. Scott Fitzgerald. And people don't know F. Scott Fitzgerald. He's the one that wrote a book that people know of as The Great Gatsby. And Zelda Fitzgerald was she was a writer, she was a dancer, she was a socialist. She did a lot of things, and then of course due to illness she died. But if you go look her up, there's a lot of stuff about her, and you can kind of see a little bit in the Princess Zelda where, like, yes, dancer. I would say I think there's certain games Zelda kind of fights as a dancer. I kind of see that a little bit, especially if you play Hyrule Warriors. You can see that, and in Skyward Sword, you can see a little bit of that too. And then kind of like I like how Zelda Fitzgerald, she feels like an empowered woman, and I think you can see that in Zelda. And so, And that's basically it about her. Now, the only thing you can find out more fascinating about her is basically how she has developedly changed over the history of gaming.
Her evolution.
Yeah, and just her looks every single time.
Yeah.
And you see her as... You can actually see her more... If you look at the old photos of the Zelda going up to this point, you see her as more of a kiddish character emerging into more of an adult character, right? And so... And you could tell that, I think the first thing you saw that is in Ocarina of Time, where you saw her as a kid and then you saw her as an adult, depending on, you know, when you draw the Master Sword in Ocarina of Time, spoiler. But then from beyond that, we've seen her as more as an adult.
Yes.
And that's it. And so what's your take on Zelda?
My favorite iteration as Zelda, and it's definitely a bias because, on my opinion, the Twilight Princess version of her was very methodical in setting in motion, getting Link, meeting with Link after Midna brings her to him, telling him what's going on. The sacrifice she made for, you know, the guy gives her the ultimatum of, I'm going to slaughter every one of your people, your knights, or you can drop the sword. And they'll at least stay alive. But even though they're alive, they're trapped in this shroud of darkness over all of Hyrule.
It is interesting because...
And it just gave her so much depth of, rather than being just captured this time by Ganon, or she actually had to make a really hard choice. Yeah, she's still captured, and if she does try to escape, well, that's again, she'll be abandoning her people, and she forces this horrible task on Link and Midna.
And for people that also didn't know, she is a princess of Hyrule, and if people don't know Hyrule is, that's the world that you're living in, and known as a Hylian. If I'm saying that right, Link and her are both that, and I guess Hylians are a very unique race because they're the only people. I guess it's weird. It has to do with reincarnation of each other. But it's interesting, like, they're the only people that can come back almost looking exactly the way they are.
The same they are.
Yeah, they every single time. So that's really weird, but it's interesting at the same time. It's like no other race in that world can do that. Except, like, I guess you want to count the Goron Zoro. They look like what they are.
Yeah.
But they are the only humans, I'm doing my quotations here, the only humans in that gaming world. I mean, you have some people that look like humans, but they're their own thing, like the Gudos. That's where, like, Ganon was origin from, you know, what he is right now, or Ganondorf, sorry. And so, the one thing that fascinated me about Princess Zelda was always, like, every time you meet up with her, you always felt like that you always wanted to rescue her. I don't know why. Like, it's different from Princess Peach. Princess Peach is like, okay, I saved you, yada, yada. But Princess Zelda, it felt like there was a meaning behind it. Like, she was the faith of the world.
Yes.
You know, I never felt like it was me that was like, I'm the Disney world. It was her. Like, if she's dead, the whole world's gonna die.
Yeah.
And so that made you go through this hard struggle to save her. And it's not an easy struggle to save Princess. Like the first half, you're trying to figure out where she is, and then the second half is more of like, okay, I got to go save her, but I'm going through like 7 humongous things, going through these big monster bosses and all this stuff.
What's really neat about the Zelda formula is Link is such a reluctant hero. Starting with Link of the Past, I mean, your uncle keels over in the dungeon and just forces it upon you. Tells you to. He even says, "Stay in the house and don't get out." Like I was saying with Twilight Princess, all Link was supposed to do was deliver the gifts from the village to the Princess Zelda. That's all he was supposed to do, and he gets roped in, gets turned into a wolf, has his friends kidnapped.
And that's the thing. The Ocarina of Time, a fairy came to tell him, "Hey, you got to do this." Like, Link always gets forced to go in to help.
And I'm glad you bring up Ocarina. After he rescues Zelda, she feels so guilt-ridden that he had to give up so much of his life. She sends him back to the past, you know?
Right, like it never happened. Yeah, and then he continues his journey. And I believe in Majora's...
She has a benevolence about her that speaks volumes with as little screen time as she gets in games. She does say a lot. And Nintendo's done a great job of presenting that character. And if you think about what was it, Galactic Emissary from Brawl, I mean, she could fight, man.
Yeah. And I think one of her moves, like, she could send a guard out. And it's funny too because, like, I honestly never seen Princess like with guards around her.
No.
Except, okay, maybe in Ocarina of Time when you had to sneak your way to go see Princess, but other than that, like, you never seen her with a crew with her, no matter what she does. She never really had like a protection. Now she had, there was one point, of course, she had her trainer with her when she was becoming Sheik.
Yes.
Which is interesting because, you know, in the future, in Ocarina of Time, you got to see her as Sheik, but like, you never, I don't know, did they ever discuss like why she decided to join that group ever? No,
I don't think so.
No, maybe she just got roped in. Maybe they came to rescue her and she just became part of that group and everything like that. And that was interesting. Now, I don't know. I was one of the fools that didn't know that was Zelda behind the thing, which I should have known because, you know, the hair and the eyes kind of gave it away. But being a kid, being dumb, I'm thinking like, oh, okay, she's going to help me to go save Princess. This is going to be pretty cool. And then
I do like the twist. I was one that didn't see it.
Okay, you're one of those? Okay. And then
like you.
And then in Smash Brothers, before they split them apart, Princess was a combination of both. She could turn into Sheik.
Yes.
And most people prefer to turn into Sheik because she was faster. She had like more ability.
Agile,
more
offensive.
Yeah, more athletic and her moves and everything like that. But it's funny that we never got to see Zelda like do anything else outside of that. Like Princess Peach, she's in the sports, and now we got Link that actually jumped into a Mario Kart game for the first time. Be cool to finally see Zelda kind of get dipped into those worlds too, just for the heck of it. I think she deserves.
Spirit Tracks. She was, even though she.
That's right. She was also a pirate. I forgot about that.
Scene. Well, Spirit Tracks, she got separated from her body.
Yeah,
she got to follow Link.
That's true.
For the journey for once.
That's very true. So. Your favorite Zelda is Twilight Princess.
Yes.
And is Twilight Princess your favorite Zelda?
Yes, Twilight Princess was my favorite Zelda. Just the aesthetically and tonally, it was really dark compared to the other. It definitely created a sense of doom and gloom. Like, oh my gosh, this is the world ending.
My favorite Zelda and my favorite Link, to probably still to this day, is probably Wind Waker because. It was really kind of goofy and fun.
Yes.
And it was cool to see a girl that didn't know she was a princess.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting? Like Tetra, the pirate in Wind Waker, didn't know she was destined to be. You got to see the reincarnation of her right there. Like, you're supposed to be the next Zelda. And that's the only game out of all the Zeldas that I know so far, unless one until I finished Breath of the Wild, where she actually came into the battle to help you fight Ganon, shooting the arrow that would do it, and that was awesome. That was awesome. And of course, to me, it still has the best Link kill ever. Right, stab right in the head of Ganon, and then turn to stone. But that's where I think we start seeing Zelda kind of getting more her hands kind of dirty about that. And yeah, I know. Like Princesses has been really, really, really cool character, and I'm hoping that she is helping. And Peach are hoping to inspire more princesses to get their hands dirty a little bit more. But we haven't seen that yet.
We haven't seen many other princesses. I mean...
I wonder why. Maybe they're just afraid. Maybe people just don't want to take that chance to compete about them. Or maybe, maybe people just like those two and don't think anybody else will want to see anybody else take a chance on that. I don't know. I really don't know. I would like to see a duet. See those two do something together.
Yes.
But let's talk about... Zelda and Princess Peach. Let's talk about their influence in gaming. What do you think they influence in gaming to you? I know it's a tough question. What do you think? Do you think they inspire more women to be, I don't know, more classy in gaming? Do they teach more of...
Definitely an example. The Prim and Chopper, yeah.
Kind of something like that.
Yeah,
I think they try to show how like elegant you can be, but also throw down at the same time. Yes. But I think they also show a little bit of leadership for women characters. And I know it's kind of weird because, like I said, like it took them a while to start being those characters, and I don't think they're the one that pulled the trigger to be independent. But I think they are competing for that, and I think that's really interesting. Yeah, I think that's really interesting because, like, I swear, like. I think Zelda influenced Princess to get out more and be more independent about stuff. But I think Zelda got influenced by Princess Peach to be a little bit more, I don't know, still classy with it.
Yes.
It's kind of weird. It's weird to put it like that, and I'm pretty sure people that are listening to this could probably like maybe disagree with that, and I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. But I would love to see in the future of Zelda alone. I want to see a reversal.
A reversal role.
Yeah, because Peach did it, and it worked out pretty well, right? I want to see
a magic wielding.
No, I want to see a traditional Zelda game,
Yeah.
but Zelda being the hero this time, and Link is the one that's like knocked out, or he's
compromised. Yeah,
and just to see what would Princess do in that situation, like see her a beautiful princess that has to throw away who she is to become.
It would
a warrior.
be really cool of her unifying the Zora and against the threat, against the other creatures of Hyrule and the other communities of Hyrule.
It'd be interesting to see, like, maybe we can finally see how she got the Triforce Wisdom.
Yes.
And unite the whole nation to go after Ganon or something for the first time, because she won't have the Master Sword. Or maybe she can be the bearer of the Master Sword and she's got to get it to Link. But she has to have everybody come work together with her to deliver this Master Sword to Link to help save the day or something. Something to get... I want a journey with Zelda. I really do. But I want it where she does the same thing with Link. She has to go to different places to get better upgrades. I want her to be a princess turned into a warrior princess. And just save the day one time. But Nintendo mentioned that they don't think that will ever happen. But I think they need to just take a chance on that. I don't even care if it's a top-down 2D game like Link to the Past, but let's take a chance and see what we can do with this, because I think Zelda worked hard enough to kind of get her own game. What would you like to see? Something like that?
I definitely agree. Absolutely. A role reversal would be really neat with Zelda.
Okay. So do you have anything else you want to add before we slowly wrap this up? You have any last words about Princess Zelda or Peach? What do you want to see in the future? Anything you want to add on?
More risk taking. I like the tried and true formula. It's very nostalgic. It's a great way to launch a new system, but at the same time, studios kind of need to take a risk. At the same time, I don't think there's the old adage of, "Oh, we want this. When we get it, oh, never mind." Like you go change it back or something, but. I don't know. I think the payout is much better than the risk.
I will say this. I know the big influence is a lot in the cosplay society right now, because a lot of people cosplay about Zelda more than Princess Peach. Peach mostly has like one wardrobe. but Zelda, she has so many different forms that people just...
There are some really awesome Sheik cosplayers.
There's a lot of like the Hyrule Warrior one. There's a lot from the Twilight Princess one. There's definitely ones from Skyward Sword, and I bet you there'll be one now for Breath of the Wild. But this is actually a short episode for us, which that's actually good for us, because our goal is to not be here for a long time. It's more just get information, give our thoughts about it, and move on. So we want to thank everybody for joining us on our journey of the two princesses of gaming. But our next journey will be into espionage, where we will talk about Snake from Metal Gear Solid and Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell.
The Kings of Stealth.
Right. This is going to be a bit of a challenge for both of us, because one, some of us has to go back and kind of redo our history of Snake, and the other one kind of has to kind of learn more about Sam Fisher, because like I play the games, but I don't know who Sam Fisher is. So Kurz will be doing work on Snake. I'll be working on Sam Fisher, and then kind of give you all guys heads up. After that, we'll be going into more of the characters that have been around, doing the jobs in the background people don't know about, and that'll be the Moogles and the Toads. So you'll kind of get to learn a little bit of information about that. But anything else you want to learn, just remember to listen to the commercial at the very end. And we want to thank everybody. Curtis, thank you so much again for jumping in.
Thank you.
And we will catch y'all on our next episode. Hi, and thank you so much for taking time to listen to the show that is part of the In-Game Boss program. Remember, you can always visit us on Facebook and Twitter to get the up-to-date news about what shows are premiering and whatnot. And also, you can always listen to our shows on iTunes, Podbean, and YouTube. And remember to follow and subscribe, leave a review and a 5-star rating to keep us going. And thank you so much.